Okay, so here's our latest Brassica tent, and I've lifted it up on the zip tie lifters. It's the same as this, same setup as this one, basically, with all the packed joy in it. But I've lifted them up on the lifters, exposing then the internal to it. So I'm going to plant out this side first with our cauliflowers on this side, and I'm going to think I'll probably get 1, 2, 3, 4, probably five a side, and maybe a couple in the middle. I want to use up all of those ones, but looking at that, I'm going to be a bit selective. I'm going to get 10 in, I think, into here, because it's a 6 foot by 4 foot bed, 4 feet by 6 feet. So they're going to be a little bit close planted, but that's fine, that's okay. I'm going to do them in a slight zigzag pattern, I think, so they get the maximum space. Lime in as well. The lime's going to be going in, and also chicken pellets. So we've got the chicken manure pellets, or maybe even the 6X. It's the same sort of stuff, really. The 6X is from poultry manure. 6X concentrated farmyard manure. So we're going to get that done now. Okie dokie. So yeah, we're going to go 10 in there, and potentially about 22 in there. So about 32 are going to be going in. All that pak choi has got to come out in the Chinese kale at the back there as well. So I've spoken to my sister and my mother and others, because we're only going to be taking about 6 of those and processing them, freezing them up and stuff like that. So the rest of it can go to other people, friends and family, which is what it's all about. Right, you can see those, they are a little bit bug bit, but they'll all eat. There's nothing wrong with them. It's like Joni Mitchell says, innit? Give me spots on my pak choi, but leave me the birds and the bees. There's no artificial herbicides, pesticides or insecticides used on these, so you're going to get a bit of that. No slug pellets have been put down this year, although I am considering it, I must admit. Right, let's get them out. Okay, that's a heck of a lot of oriental greens that we've got there. If you look at these, all very nutritious in the Brassica family, of course. Getting a little bit of evidence of whitefly there on the kale, but I can't see anything on the pak choi. It must just be slug attack that's done that. But yeah, organic, beautiful. All right, so that big bed is clear now. All we need to do is get the weeding done, which is probably about 10 minutes worth of weeding, and then we'll start putting the plants in. Cool. Out with the old and in with the new. Okay, now as you can see, we're weeding as we're going. So I'm weeding this side because I'm going to be planting in. Done all the holes, there's 11 holes, so that means we're going to get 22 cauliflowers in to this bed. I was contemplating putting some in the middle, but once they're in, these are about 18 inches in from each side, so once they grow, they'll fill up the space, the cauliflowers. So as I say, I've done this side, I'm going to do that side again, get those planted up. But yeah, so we've had previously, about 2 months ago, when the pak choi went in, we put in, I'm using this tool, it's a great piece of kit. We put in the 6X as well as other amendments, including lime on the surface, and we worked that in with a tiller. So as well as that, we're going to be just been adding a bit of bloodfish and bone, because the nutrition, some of the nutrition is going to have been taken out by those pak choi, which have all been distributed to family members now. My mother came down and picked up 5 bin bags full. We had a pretty good crop off those. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a sprinkle in and around the hole. So if I'm waving you around there, guys, but sprinkle that in and around the hole, and then with the garden lime, I'm just going to get a teaspoon of garden lime and put that in around the hole. I've been checking the roots on some of the pak choi that we've pulled out. Here's one. There's the pak choi, and there's the root, and as you can see from that root, there's no evidence of clubbing on the roots. which is good. But to keep that happy situation is why this is the reason we add the lime in. The lime retards club root, a soil-borne virusy type beast called club root, and that retards it. So yeah, they're pretty well spaced, these, although that looks a bit close to that one, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they're between 1 foot and 18 inches apart. So we'll see how we get on. We don't want them to be too close together, really. I mean, they'll still grow. You'll just get smaller curds when the cauliflower comes through. But of course, with the cauliflower, like any brassica, you can eat the leaves, the stems, the curds, the lot, which we will be doing for soups and stuff like that. You can use cauliflower leaf, yeah, cauliflower leaf. You can use that in the same way that you use cabbage leaf. Exactly the same. Same with broccoli. All the brassica family can be used in that way. Okay, leaf, stem, floret, all can be used. Okay, so we've got a handful blood fishing bone, we've got a teaspoonful of the lime, and all we do is we integrate it around about 10-inch diameter around where the plant's going to be put. We'll just integrate it all in. Yeah, now the plant itself, check that out, the plant itself is going to go there in the middle. Yeah, and then it's going to be earthed up around that. But then as the roots start to grow, you'll get a good even feed, a good they like nitrogen, the brassica plants, but also because you want the florets, you want a good mix as well. So there is nitrogen in there in the form of the 6X. There's also nitrogen from the blood fishing bone, from the blood, particularly in the blood fishing bone, and then you've got the bone meal and what have you that's integrated in that, and that'll assist with the actual development of the flower head, because that's what the floret is. Yeah, so the curds on a cauliflower and the florets on broccoli, that's the actual flowering part of the plant. So you do want to assist with that as well. So I'm going to go along there now, get them all integrated, get them all amended, get the feed in and the lime in, all the way along, and then we'll plant them in. We'll plant in our little cauliflowers. Alright, now these are a variety called all the year round cauliflowers. So in the initial pit, if you like, you can see that that's the area that I've excavated and I've put the amendments into, and then I put the secondary pit there. All we're doing is we're going to be firming that around inside there. Difficult to do one-handed this, but I'm sure we can cope. And then on the top, there's another inch or so there, isn't there? So where I want the plant to be covered is up to there where the leaves start. So you've got that reddish area there. Okay. And then where the leaves start. They're like a pretty firm seat, really, these. The cauliflowers. All brassicas like a firm seat. We'll bury it up to where the leaves are starting. Like that. I'll firm it in better later. You know, give it a squeeze round and a firm in when I've got 2 hands free. But that's what I've done there, and I'll be doing that there. And we're going to carry on there. And you can see it's in a little bit of a shallow pit. Because we've had dry conditions and we're not expecting to have a wet summer, that sort of shallow depression will help to move the water in and around the plant, because they are water thirsty. They're quite nutrient hungry, and that little plant, believe it or not, will grow to about 2 feet round with its leaf, and then hopefully in the centre we'll have a nice big fat cauliflower curd in the middle of it. So yeah, let's crack on. I'll do them all now. Like I say, I'm digressing a bit now, but I'll firm those in, and then afterwards, once they're all planted in, we'll water them in, and that'll get all the soil in and around the root ball that we've planted, and that should be fine. Okay, the cauliflowers are in. Took about an hour that to get them in. But what I've also got some lettuces that need to go out. I've got 12 of them. Now, lettuces don't need as much direct sunlight. In fact, they don't particularly like direct sunlight if it's too hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them on the back face, the lane face inside, where they'll be more shaded. They'll mature quicker than the cauliflowers. These lettuces will be ready in about 5 or 6 weeks. And the cauliflowers should just about start to shade them out a little bit too much then and push them out of the way. But until then, we'll get another crop. So we're into planting with these beautiful lettuce. Bit of a mixed bag of lettuce there. Let's get that on. Alright. I'll be doing the same sort of a process. Not going to really be bothering with the lime on this one, but I will be putting a little bit of bloodfish and bone in, just a sprinkle. Because there's enough nitrogen in there, because we put the 6X in there previously. And where I'm going to be planting these is not going to be where, or close to even really, where the pak choi was. So we should be alright. Okay, let's crack on with it. Alright. They're all in. Like I say, I've not limed these ones. I've just put the bloodfish and bone in there because I think it's going to be fine. They've only got 6 weeks to grow in. So that's fine. We can be picking those leaves and harvesting them as baby leaves as we go through with that salad leaf, or we can leave them to mature on. But we'll see what the weather is like. If it gets too hot, as I say, they start to bolt. Especially the red ones. The red ones seem to bolt first. They turn into sort of like red Christmas trees. Anyway, there we go. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to water them in. And I'm going to water them in with a little bit of comfrey feed in the mix. Where have I put that now? It's over here. This is the comfrey, the liquid comfrey tea that we create. I'm going to be putting a dash of that into this this watering can. Each side's going to get a 7 litre watering. So I'm going to put a dash into there. Yeah, not much. Probably about 1/3 of a litre, like a Coke can's full at this stage. But as that waters the plants in, they're going to get the nutrition that they need. So I'm going to fill it up from these. And away we go. Okay. Now, using our watering can, I don't want to put it particularly onto the plants, but I'm going to water it around these plants and let them seep in. They'll perk up again. The leaves that are dropping will perk up and stand upright. But like Monty Don says, give them a good drink when you first plant them in. And then the growing medium will settle around the plants then. I'm going to need more, aren't I? Should have got the 10 litre one. So it's going to be 4 of those. And the mix will be 1 part to 20 of the comfrey tea to the water. So the comfrey tea that's over there, probably 1 part, which is about 330 mils into that. Not an exact science, but that's the kind of ratio that we're looking for. It's quite good stuff, comfrey tea. I'll show you the comfrey plant now, actually, which needs to be harvested. It stinks though. It tends to smell, but you do get a heck of a lot out of it. I mean, that's six pints or something like that, and you get probably twice that when we do our mix. Check through the back catalogues for the mixes on the comfrey tea, how we actually produce it. But I'll show you the comfrey now that needs to be chopped. That's comfrey, and it's taking over. Borage, some people call it, but I don't think it's actually borage. It's comfrey. The bees like it, the pollinators love it, but that's going to be chopped up and made into the comfrey tea. I might try and dig out the video on the comfrey tea and put it into the description, or into the square at the top. So they're all watered in now. The last step is one that we have no choice over really, because I'm looking at the state of some of them pak choi. The pesky slugs have been devastating them. Some of them were alright, not too bad, but some of them have had a right good chomp. And it's not been particularly damp conditions, which would encourage the slugs, so yeah, we've got a slug problem. We've tried the nematodes before, we've tried all sorts, but the only thing that's effectively worked on this site is slug pellets. So I've got slug pellets. I only use slug pellets, boys and girls, not on the plants obviously, around the plants where they're covered like this, where they're netted up. That way the birds can't get to them. You don't get the hedgehogs coming into here as well, because it's all sealed up at the base where the skirts are on the netted tents. The only thing that eats them, and it kills them very quickly, is slugs, and you find the slugs then lying dead upon the earth around where they've eaten them. They only usually make it about 6 or 8 inches once they've ingested the pellets, these particular ones. Slug and Snail Killer by Protect Garden are the ones we're using. And I'm going to be scattering some of these about. There's no real alternative. We need to eat the food. We don't need the slugs to eat it. So that's my statement on that. If it's good enough for Vivi, at what Vivi did next, it's good enough for me. Okay, on with the pellets. A liberal dose. Now, the sun's come out now, it's beautiful. So God's smiling on my efforts, isn't he? He approves of the slug pellets. That's going to be covered up. I never use them on open beds, because the other wildlife, the other fauna, can potentially eat it. If the slugs get outside the beds as well, and another creature eats it, then it can have adverse effects for the other creature. So as long as they're contained within the beds, I don't see a problem with it. We need to eat. We need to have the crops from the land. Okay, so that's why we do that. Beer traps, cider traps, things like that, all kinds of remedies do have an effect, but they don't get rid of the problem. They're not as effective as the slug pellets, so there you go. Not by a country mile, we've found. Okay, let's get this bed done. Again, the same, the lifters are there. Look at all these flies here, and then trapped in the netting. I'm easily distracted, me. So we'll get this bed planted up. I'm going to try and get 11 into there. Or maybe I'm just going to stick to the 10. No, I'll stick to the 10, because that's going to be quite close planted at the 10. We'll get those in there. These are the ones that we've got. Again, it's the same cauliflower, all the year round. So yeah, same principle, same as before. We must always be vigilant, dear growers, even when we're planting out our little babies. I'll show you why. If you look at the compost in that cell, this particular one, you'll see whitefly and their larvae at the base. They're waiting to jump up now. In fact, they're climbing up now on a couple of those little cauliflower plants to make their homes. In the next cell, see that little ball-shaped creature? That, if I'm not very much mistaken, come on, where are you? Oh, it's going deeper. Oh no, it's there. There it is. Right, that is a slug's egg. That. There was another one there that I've just squished, and I shall be squishing that one off camera because it's a bit gory. You can hear it though. Listen. There's the pop. Yeah. Sneaky swines, aren't they? Look at them. So those two I'm not going to favour. I'm just looking around to see if there's any more, and there is a bit of larvae action going on. So I may need to use the spray on that. I've got some organic spray, and I'm going to use that. I'll go and get it now actually. Stan Brouard, or whatever his name is, SB, Plant Invigorator and Bug Killer. Top of the shop there, controls whitefly. aphid, spider mite, mealybug, scale and mildew. It's a sort of feed and kill, but it's an organic one. It's safe for organic use. For use on all edible and ornamental. Whatever that says. Yeah. This is apparently, according to Tony O'Neill, it's approved for organic control, that. But yeah, it works. That's the main thing. Now I've just put 10 millilitres of that into this litre sprayer, and I'm going to be filling it up from the tank over there. And I'm going to be treating these. I'm also going to treat these other plants. I'm going to give them a spraying with that. Might as well do these ones. I haven't spotted it on any of the other ones though. It was just this particular tray. You can see it, especially there on that lot. Yeah, so these have all had a good spraying. Base, stem and the leaf. You need eyes in your bum in this game, boys and girls. Ever vigilant for those pesky critters. Okay, now I'm going to close that up now. It's the same as the other one. If you've ever seen the big one, they just slide down these zip ties. And then that seals it up. It seals up the tent. It's dead easy with two hands. Everything's easy with two hands. I feel sorry for Richard Kimball's nemesis, me. The one-armed man. He must have had it tough. So I'll just lower all that now. I'm going to have to peg the ends until I can get the little nails. Sorry about that, folks. That was very rude, wasn't it? The battery went on the camera phone. So I'm just putting a bit of charge in it now, and I'll pick up where I left off with the zip ties. I do love that zip tie tent lowering system on those hoop tents, those Brassica tents. And I believe it was my design. I hadn't seen it anywhere else. I just come up with it one day. I hadn't seen it anywhere else, promise. But it works. It's great. Feel free to use it. I've not got a patent on it. It's all about the shirting, isn't it? Catch you in a bit. Okay, so now I still haven't got the little nails, the little hook nails, that in the same way that we've got on the big Brassica tent. I haven't got those for the little one. So I'll show you the big one, and then I'll show you what I mean on the little one. Yeah, this big one, which I believe is close to 16 foot. It's not just 16 foot. 16 feet by 4 feet, we'll call it. And it's got the nails that we hook the skirt of the net onto around it. So these little nails are what we hook the net to. There's a little bit of repairs need doing. I'm going to come back and do that tomorrow with the little zip ties like I've done there. But on the new tent, what I'm using temporarily is I've put the tent pegs in. So we've got the metal tent pegs pushed in, and that seals off the ends, the two ends. And then I've just put a cane down. So where your water pipe, plastic water pipe goes in there, and between that and where your baseboard is for your sectional bed, your timber baseboard is, that fits into there then, and that secures it. And the zip ties, the great descending and ascending zip ties, keep it all in place along with the cane. So I've done that as a temporary fix until we can get the little nails down there. I might just leave it like that for this season. But the excess netting still needs to be trimmed off, and etc. But at the moment, as it stands, it's fit for purpose. It's doing the job, isn't it? It's keeping the birds out. It's keeping the cabbage white butterflies out. I haven't put any slug pellets in there, I've just noticed. But what I have done is I've put the remaining baby plants, the baby cauliflowers. So I'll give them a rinse before we go. Give them a wet down. Everything else has been watered in, etc. I'll leave them in there until this one's constructed, because that's going to be a Brassica bed as well. Just need to get the hoops and the netting on for that. And that's going to be another Brassica bed, and they're going to be going in there. So we'll have cauliflowers in there, we'll have cauliflowers in there, with all them Brassicas down there. with the lettuce in there. The only thing I haven't planted out is I'll show you the various varieties of beetroot in here. Yeah, Cylindra, we've got the Boltardy, we've got Detroit 2 down there. But I ran out. I was going to put some more, I think it was bull's blood down there, but they perished. They perished inside there. But what I have got is I've got all these in here. Yeah, there's 36 beetroot plants, or cluster planted beetroot plants in there, and they need to go out as well desperately. So they're going to go out this week, and they're going to go out open planted. Let's take you back down here again, boys and girls. The constant weeder. I'm not the constant gardener, I'm the constant weederer, me. So they're going to go in there, the beetroots, and some are going to go in there as well, at the side of the pathetic looking beans that we've got. Yeah. Nil desperandum. I'm so behind this year, you know. Playing catch up all the time with everything. But we'll get a feed off it, definitely. We're going to get a feed off it. I'll catch you tomorrow, Tuesday, potentially Wednesday as well. I'm going to try and do about an hour every night and get myself back down here. But I also need to spend time with the kids and the missus. You know, it's difficult when you're working full-time, boys and girls, isn't it? But this is what we've got to do if we want to sustainably feed ourselves in the end. That's the plan, in an organic way. Right, if I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. I've been good and Mafinda. You've been beautiful, fragrant and fantastic if you're a lady. You've been masculine, forthright and virile if you're a gentleman. And if you've been something in between, you've been something in between. We love you all. And keep growing with your heads down. See you in a bit, guys. Bye-bye now. Have a great week.